The NASCAR Cup Series race has a finish included from Atlanta Motor Speedway, and we see some pretty awesome racing, some chaotic racing up front, but some great racing as well. And the race, unfortunately, gets called early by rain, with William Byron picking up another victory. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to the video. I just got done watching NASCAR Cup Series race from Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Quicker Save 400. We have quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So, before the green flag drop in today's race, Christopher Bell would have to go to the rear of the field for unapproved adjustments. So at the start of the race, had Eric Almirola lead the field from the outside with Ryan Blaney on the inside, and Eric Almirola got a really strong run and was able to clear for the race lead. It was stay single file for a very long time. Drivers tried to go side by side, but it stayed single file for a while. Then in last 17, the first caution of the race would come out for Harrison Burton, who spun from 10th position after just getting loose coming off of turn number 2, hit the inside wall and got some damage. Unfortunately, got a flat tire as well, and this would take him out of contention. Then we saw a little bit of strategy for guys like Kevin Harvick, Justin Haley, Ryan Preece, Kyle Busch, and Chris Buescher, and Daniel Suarez to come down pit road, while the rest leaders stayed out. So in the start of the race, he had Eric Almirola lead the field from the outside with Ryan Blaney on the inside, and Eric Almirola got a really strong restart and was able to clear for the race lead. Eric Almirola would lead for a little bit, and then Joe Logano, he tried to get the lead from Eric Almirola on lap number 40, but on the next lap, Eric Almirola was able to pass Joey Logano back. And then eventually, with about 12 laps to go on the stage, Joe Logano was able to pass Eric Almirola for the race lead, and Eric Almirola dropped all the way back, basically a ton of positions to 9th place. Then basically Tyler Reddick, he got loose the next lap, but he had a really incredible save and was able to hang on to it after contact with Austin Cindric. Then at this point, we saw some really good racing up front. Ryan Blaney, 3 laps to go on the stage. He was able to pass Joe Logano for the lead. Then Kyle Larson on the last lap of stage 1, he got a fantastic run and tried to make a move on Ryan Blaney for the race lead, but he would not have enough. He would get the lead going to turn 3, but it would not be enough. It'd be a photo finish to the line with Ryan Blaney holding off Kyle Larson to win stage number 1. Then we basically saw a little bit of strategy. Guys like BJ McLeod and Ty Dillon stayed out while everyone else came down pit road. On pit road, Michael McDowell got hit by Mark Truex Jr. Basically, Mark Truex Jr. got actually hit by Michael McDowell. Truex got a ton of damage on that car, and this kind of took him out of contention at the point. Denny Hamlin had a penalty for equipment interference. Christopher Bell had a penalty for moving equipment, and William Byron got a safety violation. So then on the next restart, Kyle Larson lead the field from the outside with Ryan Blaney on the inside, and Kyle Larson was able to clear for the race lead. But then basically Ryan Blaney, I think, got by Larson then. Then on lap 80, another caution would come out for William Byron, who spun from 24th position after some contact from Corey LaJoie. That looked to be a major mistake by Corey LaJoie. Nothing to do in that situation for Byron. Just a big mistake by Corey LaJoie. Then we saw a little bit of strategy for guys like Bubba Wallace, Ryan Preece, Mark Truex Jr., Chase Elliott came in, while the rest leaders stayed out, and Chase Elliott actually come back down pit road to tie the wheels on the car. Then we went back racing, I think, at lap number 86. I think actually at the time, basically, I believe that Bubba Wallace actually led the field back for him from the outside. Mark Truex Jr. on the inside. They actually stayed out under the caution at that point, with them getting the race lead. Bubba Wallace had a lead, and then Truex eventually was able to clear. We had some really good racing. First, then he had Ty Gibbs, Eric Jones have contact a few laps later. But then Kyle Larson, he spun from 14th position. He just got loose, got a ton of damage, and unfortunately, the tire ended up going down, coming back down the road. Larson just got loose, nothing to do in that situation. And unfortunately, Chase Briscoe and Austin got collected in that as well. And like I said, Kyle Larson had a blown tire from that. So then at this point, you have Mark Truex Jr., Bubba Wallace, Ty Dillon, Noah Gragson, Chase Elliott pit, while the rest leaders stayed out. But then in the restart, Chris Buescher lead the field from the outside with Justin Haley on the inside, and Chris Buescher got a really strong restart and was able to clear for the race lead. And he would dominate the next portion of this race. Then on lap 123, the biggest wreck of the day would ended up striking for Eric Jones, who had contact with Corey LaJoie. LaJoie basically spun Eric Jones, and unfortunately, a lot of cars got involved, including Ross Chastain, LaJoie, Todd Gillen, Eric Jones, Tyler Reddick, and Ty Gibbs all got damaged. Just a massive mistake right there for Eric Jones. Eric Jones is way over-aggressive, in my opinion. He was over-aggressive tonight, was making mistakes out on the racetrack, and cost himself a shot at a good day. Then we saw a little bit of strategy where guys like Chris Buescher, Joe Logano, Ryan Blaney, Austin Cindric, and Alex Bowman stay out, while the rest leaders would come down pit road, as everyone was getting really worried about the rain. Then we went back racing at lap 129 with Chris Buescher leading the field from the outside with Ryan Blaney on the inside, and Chris Buescher was able to get the race lead. Then a few laps later, we saw some back and forth. Austin Cindric actually got the lead first for a few laps, and we saw Austin Cindric and Brad Keselowski battle for about 5 or 6 laps side by side going into turn number 1. And eventually, we saw Brad Keselowski able to pass for the race lead. Ryan Blaney tried to make a move for the lead, but Keselowski was able to hang on. Then on lap 155, trouble would strike for Alex Bowman and Denny Hamlin, as Alex Bowman ended up getting loose from a position. Unfortunately, Denny Hamlin had nowhere to go, and they ended up wrecking each other coming down the front stretch, bringing out the final caution, actually bringing out, I believe, the final caution of this race. So at this point, they're thinking about, are we going to come down the road, are we going to get this race back going, or are we going to stay out at this particular point? Well, actually, we basically went back racing at this point, so we went back, the race would basically go back green, though. They would end the stage with Brad Keselowski winning. We had guys like Allmendinger, McDowell, Jones, Byron, Suarez all stayed out while the rest leaders came down pit road. I got to question one driver, though, Bubba Wallace. I don't understand why we stayed out. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. So at this point, AJ Allmendinger lead the field from the outside with Michael McDowell on the inside. And Michael McDowell got the lead for a second, but AJ was able to get the lead back. Then on lap 167, we saw William Byron basically get the race lead, got a really strong run, and was able to pass both McDowell and Allmendinger there. Then on lap 173, we would see Cal Hart spin from 21st position, but the field would end up staying green. And then the final caution race would come on lap 178 for Bubba Wallace and Ryan Preece spinning. Ryan Preece, I believe, got turned by Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Bubba had nowhere to go, bringing the final caution out of this race. Once this caution flag came out, this is basically the deciding factor of this race. NASCAR had the cars rolling, basically thinking, we're going to get this race back going. Well, NASCAR would not get the race back going, and they would come down pit road, and it would be officially called, and William Byron will pick up his fourth victory of the 2023 season. Did William Byron have the fastest car? No. He has a massive comeback, though, from basically a spin and win. Played the strategy right, was in the right position at right time, and picks up win number 4 of 2023. Again, I think William Byron definitely is a championship threat. Granted, tonight was not his best race. He had a really, really good car at times and was up front early, but like I said, had the issues throughout the race that cost him a shot, a very, very good run. But still, a great day for William Byron to pick up win number 4 of 2023. Huge congratulations to William Byron on picking up the victory. So now we're going to take a look at the race results, and I'll give you my score of today's race. So William Byron picks up the victory. And Daniel Suarez finished in second. That's Daniel Suarez's first top 5, only second top 5, I think, of the 2023 season. A fantastic day for Suarez. He played the strategy right near the end of the race, but he was in the right position at right time and gets a very solid top 5 run. A must-needed run from this team. Great run for Daniel Suarez in second place. AJ Allmendinger finished in third. Fantastic day for AJ Allmendinger. He ran top 10 and top 5, especially in the second half of this race. I thought he was going to win it, but nonetheless, another very solid run for Allmendinger, who definitely has a chance to make the playoffs this year. Michael McDowell finishes 4th. If this race had gone back racing, I think McDowell completely lose a chance at winning. But McDowell, nonetheless, gets another solid top 5 run. Great run for Michael McDowell. Kyle Busch finishes 5th. Kyle Busch struggled a lot of this evening, but near the end of the race, he was one of the few cars that's really charging up front. He gets a really strong top 5 finish. Great run for Kyle Busch in 5th place. I think that's Kyle Busch's like 7th or 8th top 10 finish in a row or something like that. So I think he's definitely a championship threat and a championship contender. Brad Keselowski finished at 6th. Man, they're going to be hitting themselves in the back for that one because, in my opinion, Keselowski probably should have won this race. He had the fastest car near the end of this thing. He was actually my pick coming into this race. It's a shame they made kind of a bad strategy call that cost him a shot at the win, but he still recovers and finished 6th. Great day for Brad Keselowski. J.G. Ely finished at 7th. Great day for J.G. Ely. He definitely had help from basically staying out, but you know what? They play the right strategy, and they get a very solid top 10 finish in 7th place. Justin Haley finishes 8th. Great run for Justin Haley. Ran top 10 and top 15 in the majority of the evening and gets another respectful top 10 finish. Great run for Justin Haley. Ryan Blaney finishes 9th. Blaney had one of the 2 or 3 fastest cars in the race, in my opinion. Qualified on the front row and led a fly on laps tonight as well. It's a shame Blaney didn't get the win, but nonetheless, a solid top 10 run for Ryan Blaney. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finished 10th. He was the one that brought the final caution out, but that's his first top 10, I think, since around Sonoma time, if I'm not mistaken, so it's been a few weeks. Good to see Stenhouse have a good recovery run and finish in 10th. Eric Jones finished 11th. He was a menace tonight for sure. Eric Jones really was getting into people making mistakes out on the racetrack, but you know what? It is what it is. He does end up finishing in the top 15. Solid run for him. Austin finishes 12th. Solid run for him tonight. He actually ran top 5 and top 10 a majority of the evening. Obviously, Team Penske was really good here in the spring. He was going to be a threat, I thought, tonight for sure. So great run for him in 12th place. Chase Elliott finishes 13th. A decent run for Chase Elliott, but I think he's going to make up a lot of points on the cutoff line as well. I know he didn't get really any stage points tonight, but nonetheless, a solid top 15 for Chase Elliott in 13th place. He's going to have better runs than that, earn more points, though, if he's going to want a chance to make the playoffs. Denny Hamlin finishes 14th. Denny Hamlin had a solid run overall, in my opinion. Ran top 5 and top 10 a lot of the evening. Unfortunately, though, Denny Hamlin's chance and shot to win kind of went out the window after the caution came out, but he still finishes in 14th. Chris Buescher finishes 15th. This is a race of what could have been for him. He had a top 10 car, top 5 car. A lot of the evening Fords are very, very strong, but he does finish in the top 15. Todd Gillen finished 16th. Todd Gillen had a very strong run tonight, one of his best runs, especially recently. He ran top 10 a lot of the evening, so he does finish in 16th. Joey Logano finished 17th. He had a top 5 car most evening, probably one of the 2 or 3 fastest cars for sure. He didn't have the car that was going to dominate, but still ran up front all evening and gets a very decent top 20 finish in 17th. Eric Almirola finished 18th. I thought Eric Almirola was going to be a factor to win tonight. He was really strong early, but never was really a factor once he got shuffled back and just barely finishes inside the top 20. I think Almirola still only has maybe 2 top 10 so far in 2023. They've got to get it together in that 10 team and figure things out. Ty Dillon finished 19th, solid run for him, and BJ McLeod finished 20th, top 20 for this team. I think that's their second race in a row where the BJ McLeod Motorsports team, or Live Fast, has finished in the top 25. Good run for BJ McLeod. Austin Dillon finished 21st. Chase Briscoe finished 22nd. Qualified great, but another bad finish for Chase Briscoe. Chris Abella, after having issues throughout the race, he finished 23rd. Ryan Preece finished 24th. The one who basically brought out the final caution near the end. Preece had a very good car, ran top 10 a majority of the evening, but doesn't get the finish he deserved after spinning out. Bubba Wallace finished 25th. Bubba Wallace, he had a top 5, top 10 car most of the evening, but I'm going to say this. Why did Booty Barker bring him down pit road? I get you thinking we're going to go back racing, but you were in the same position that AJ Allmendinger was. He should have stayed out. If he stays out, he's not in that position. He had a fast enough car to stay up there. Just a terrible strategy call from Booty Barker, and that's what put him in that position. They're going to be kicking themselves in the butt for that one because, in my opinion, that was a terrible move and terrible strategy call from Bubba Wallace that cost him a shot at a better finish. Alex Bowman finished 26th after crashing out. Tyler Reddick finished 27th. Harrison Burton finished 28th. Decent recovery for him. I think it was like 5 or 6 laps down at one point, so he does recover to finish 28th, only 1 lap down. Mark Truex Jr. finished a lap down, also finished 29th. Tough break for Mark Truex Jr. Truex looked really fast early. Not sure really what happened to him to finish 29th, but he does. Kevin Harvick finished 30th. Corey LaJoie finished 31st. Going back to talk about Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick definitely was running better. Unfortunately, the issues near the end cost him a shot. He finished 30th. Cole Custer finished 32nd. No mention of Cole Custer making his first Cup start, I believe, since last year. Cole Custer never was mentioned on the broadcast. The only time they mentioned it was during qualifying. He's going to, of course, run the next 2 weeks with Rico Racing. Just never was a factor. Noah Gragson finished 33rd. Ty Gibbs finished 34th. Ross Chastain finished 35th after crashing out. Kyle Larson finishes 36th. Kyle Larson had a car that was capable of winning this race. Unfortunately, they had got loose. Then they had the flat tire issue and just a bad mistake by Larson. But I feel like he's been getting better at Super Speedways over time. And Austin Hill finishes last in 37th place. So now, let's talk about the overall race itself, and I'll give you my score of today's race. In my opinion, from start to finish, despite the race being shortened, this was the best race on New Atlanta, and it was not even close. Granted, there were times it was single file, but throughout, especially the second half of this race, when rain was going to be a factor, urgency was going to be the key, the race itself was absolutely amazing and absolutely spectacular. You saw a lot of side-by-side racing for the lead. You saw some 3-wide moves especially, and it was a very enjoyable race overall. I was against Atlanta basically coming into this weekend, but I have actually become a fan of New Atlanta, and this is for me. I have now, especially after today's race, I've become a new big fan. I'm going to give today's race overall at New Atlanta overall a 9 out of 10. I would probably give it almost a perfect score if there would have been a little more side-by-side at points, and probably if we didn't have the race shortened, but unfortunately Mother Nature really played a role and played a major aspect in that. It is what it is overall, but for me, a 9 out of 10 is my score for tonight's NASCAR Cup Series race. That was epic, and that was amazing racing. I hope we get that next year in the spring, but hopefully we'll have better conditions for the spring as well. So, that is going to today's NASCAR Cup Series race review from Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Quaker State 400. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, notifications on when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go jump over that and comment your thoughts below on tonight's race. What are your thoughts on tonight's race? Let me know below. Let me know your score in the comments below. And congratulate William Byron on picking up his 4th victory of 2023. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel should be a NASCAR news video on the channel. There also should be the Xfinity Series race picks for the upcoming race at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Then on Tuesday should have maybe a 2025 NASCAR Cup Series driver lineup predictions once again dropping. We'll have to wait and see on that. And there's also going to be an update video likely dropping this week as well. Wednesday's going to be NASCAR news video on the channel. If any major news breaks, we'll have breaking news videos throughout the week. We're also getting closer to 2,000 subscribers on the channel. So if you're new to the channel, if you enjoyed tonight's video, make sure to subscribe. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching tonight's race review, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.